your bruise in your fantasy league. We got that blue Lord's blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
No, guys, we're not even play the full intro. Okay. This is bullshit. This game was bullshit. This loss was bullshit. This is the no bullshit show. We're going to call out the bullshit. Okay. So hit that share button. I want to hear from you guys. What was the bullshit from your perspective? We're going to get all out of the way today. Okay. We got Scott. Man, you got some thoughts. There's a lot of, obviously, we're going to talk about the refs. We're going to talk about the field goal. We're going to get that out of the way right off the bat. And then we'll talk about the multitude, an honest multitude of positive things that we can take away from this game. But I don't even want to sit through the whole intro, man. I'm too much on edge. And Scott, I'm just going to bring this up right off the bat, dude. Great breakdown by Scott McAfee here, or Pat McAfee. This blocking is horrendous. Horrendous, dude.
You know what?
I don't even know who 54 is.
Our special teams have been so good this year.
They have been
on point, and we. I can't even imagine how we let this happen.
You said it perfectly. Our special teams is not bad.
No,
our special teams is not bad. So how did this happen on this game? And now, if you also want to put it into perspective, they said this was the first game that Bo Nix has fumbled in 37 games. 37 games. Okay, there's just luck. I think Taylor Swift, honestly, just has her witchcraft and curses and puts spells and hexes out on these teams because this is abnormal. There's no way this kind of luck happens to a team week in and week out. I'm not even talking about the refs, man.
And I got to give Kansas City a little bit of props because obviously they saw that this was something that had been going on. I haven't gone back. I'm not a historian. I don't analyze game film, and maybe I should, but I don't. But, people in the know have said this has been a problem all year with this guy. And, I don't know if it got overlooked because he was doing such a good job at center when he was filling in. Because he busted his ass. He did a really good job stepping into the starting center role. But damn, man, in this case, I swear to God, I thought for sure there was going to be a flag thrown. Or if there wasn't a flag thrown, there was going to be an obvious offside that they looked the other way on.
Right, and something where it's like, that's clearly a penalty.
Wasn't pointed out. It just, I don't know. I had to turn the TV off. And, of course, I had to mute my son because he was, Matthew.
Oh, I know Matt.
And he still won't talk about it. It's a good thing he's not helping with this podcast because he would just say, I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. I don't even want to talk about it.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks.
Did they lose?
Twist it, why don't you? Freaking thanks, dude. Paula, how you doing? Let's see. Let's go Denver Broncos. Fuck the refs.
F-U-K-C.
Nobody's going to find me.
F-U-K-C.
And I'm calling them the Chrefs from now on. The Chiefs plus refs. They're the Chrefs. Because this, honestly, Look, and I'm going to start off this conversation by saying this. And for everyone out there, Anthony, how you doing, man? Post your comments. Let me know if you agree. Hit that share button. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. For every bad ref call that goes against your team, whether it's a bad call or a bad no call, right? There are 5 things. I would say there's probably 5 things on average that your team could have done better.
Yes.
That would have negated that bad call or being in that situation where that call happened. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm going to acknowledge that. Dude, week in and week out. And it's not like these teams are getting penalized 15, 20 times a game against the refs. It's the strategic moments of
always at a critical moment. Always at a critical moment. That damn legal contact. I mean, I didn't see it because I was driving back from my dad's birthday party, but I just know that from the radio, that sack happened so fast. How much illegal contact could have been going? It had to be simultaneous with us knocking him on his ass.
Basically.
And I don't get it. And then I saw, a play or two later, they got an obvious hold, hands to the face on that left tackle on a completion for a first down. How did they miss that? How did they miss that? But they catch Surtain.
They catch the other one.
His hand on their receiver, on Hopkins.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very, very strange.
Look, Cody, I agree. They're calling us conspiracy here. Here's my thing. I still don't believe the league I don't believe that the league is rigged, but it's becoming harder and harder and harder for me to argue against that it is. Like, it's like, I look at this and I'm like, well, very strong, maybe.
I just think that there's a real issue with professional referees. All these guys are professionals in something else, and this is like a part-time job for them, and that's a problem for a league that makes so much money. And where's the accountability? Where's the accountability when you don't do what you're supposed to do? You don't call the right penalty. You don't call it at a time when it probably should have been called, and you're calling it at a time when, the Court and Sutton thing. I mean, they're down in the ball.
Right.
Really?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like, and I need to go back, like,
the line.
How far off? Like, was it like he was just totally lazy and didn't even check, and like a full yard or more beyond where the ball was? Then fine.
Killing.
But that's like they're rushing. Everybody's rushing, right? And so how much time did the ref really have to judge that? Yeah. But when do you see offsides calls on the play killers like that? Like, when they spike the ball, you don't see that because the refs know what the intent is, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a real head shaker. And I don't know. Maybe he doesn't hit it for 55 yards. But you push him back to 60 yards, it's definitely not happening. I don't know if he would have made the 55-yarder. But
it would have been closer. And sometimes that 5 yards is all you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes that 5 yards is all you need.
Portland had a really good game, but a bad game. I mean, he had 2 or 3 drops. He had that penalty, but which he can have it. And that's the problem. He is the veteran. He's got to be the guy that's playing clean football.
Right. Hey, Andrew, I got it. We're letting the first few minutes out of the way to get this whole conversation done. Believe me, we have plenty of good things to say about this game. So stick around, guys. This is just the venting. That way, other people later in the show, when they bring up the refs, we can say, hey, we've already talked about that.
At the end of the day, we got to score. We got to score in the third quarter. That's what it comes down to.
Well, in first quarter too, the first couple drives were, and our offense was either on fire or dead.
Yes,
there was no middle ground.
I really like it when they go up tempo. It just seems when they go up tempo, Bo is more focused. He's getting a little more time at the line. He's starting to. You can really see that he's reading defenses now.
Yeah,
he's seeing. I mean that 3rd and 2, where he just looked over and okay, all right, single coverage. They were stacking that box to stop a 2-yard run, and then there was just a beautiful pass. A lot of air under it. Where the guy, Courtland just ran under that. It was a very simple pass and catch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We're starting to see some of that, and we're starting to see the young guys play like real men. I mean,
Vele.
I love
the first guy that comes to your mind, Devon Vele.
I love
this.
Him.
Is week in and week out, whether he gets 2 targets or 8 targets, and I don't think he's had 8 yet, but. This guy is just low key, like boss.
Everything that's thrown at him, and I think it's just a matter of time before he breaks one of those, breaks a tackle, and goes.
Yeah.
And I loved using the rookie at running back. That was a lot of trust, and that really could have blown up in Sean's face. I mean, you're letting him handle the ball down low as the clock's ticking off, as we're trying to just get what we should have been getting, which was the game-winning field goal. Right. And you're giving it to this guy that he's just been fumbling. I mean, can you imagine that guy right now? He's feeling himself a little bit, and he should be.
Well, now here, let me read through this for you because this ties in perfectly to what you're saying. Zach Stevens on Twitter, some quotes following the game. Sean Payton felt like we outplayed them. Bo Nix played really well and was gutsy. Cooper said really tough loss. Bonito said nothing to build on. We just got to win. Here we go. Sertan, we played a hell of a game. And Estime, game is going to make me into a monster.
Yes. Did it not look different?
Did they just unleash a beast? Like
just visuals. If you didn't know anything, the fact that he's hitting the holes as they open up, and he's already through them by the time they're closing. Whereas, and I love Javonte Williams, and God bless him. The man suffered a major knee injury.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he really should have been the starting back from the get-go. And why we kept giving it to the other guy, I don't know. But then he blew out that knee. He's just not the same player. And I love him. And maybe situationally, you put him out there for third downs to be a blocker, pass receiver, but he is not the guy to be handing the ball to 20 times a game. He just does not have that burst to get through that initial opening of the line. And it was different. Just the visual of him running was different.
The way he cut, and I've even heard, seen some breakdown of footage and stuff, and the way they're describing that, instead of planting his foot and taking the cut in as soon as he sees that hole, it's almost like he's taking another 2 steps on top of that, and they, whether that's a lack of seeing the field, which I can't imagine is his problem, because he seemed to have read the field just fine his rookie year, right? So how could you lose that? But the other idea is just not trusting that ankle, not trusting that knee, not trusting that leg, right? Trusting that injury. So,
and even if he trusted it, he just
it's in his head. First. I think it's in his head, and I love the guy, but you're right. We gotta be careful how we use him.
But remember when Terrell Davis came back? I mean, I was like, how can he not be the same? And I bumped into him at Shannon Sharp's Hall of Fame induction. This man he was like built like a rock.
Oh, I know. I met him
on his shoulder, and it was like
crazy.
This man is. How can he not be able to play? But sometimes you just don't ever get it back, And it is what it is, and it breaks my heart because I liked him. I wanted him to be great. Yeah, but Estime's gonna knock it out.
I think so too. I think the writing's on the wall. You get him more experience, you get him that confidence, you give him the motivation like this game. I don't know. Look, Andrew, I think it is the right call because I'll even go back and I said it during the halftime show. I'll stand by that. I think it was the right call because it killed the clock. It kept Mahomes off the field. So, yeah, Estime only got 53, but majority of those in the second half. Still 14 carries for the guy.
Well, and
when you're averaging 3.8 yards per carry, you're doing a damn good job.
And remember this, his big run in the third quarter, it got called back because of a hold that didn't even need to be a hold. He is already by that guy when the grab happened. Powers did not need to grab him with his left hand. He was already even with him or moving past him.
Yeah. There's no way that defender would have caught him.
Powers just needs to let go and call it a day. And that's, to some degree, that's a questionable hold call. That happens all the time. But it's fine. I looked at it. I thought it was a hold. But it didn't need to be.
Yep. It's one of those situations when you play the Chrefs.
It needs to be if it's Williams because he's not going to be to that level at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Estime's they're going to start him this week, I think. Why they started Julio, and I love McLaughlin, but he's more a situational thing. They started him. He had a good run, and then they didn't use him again. He had like one run for 4 yards most of the game, and he may have gotten one more carry.
Another, he had 2 for 12 total yards.
Yeah.
But that was it.
But I think when the line knows they don't have to hold the block quite as long, you're going to see them. They're going to go out and they're going to hit the blocks, and they're not going to feel like they need to grab. But if you think your back's not going to be through in time, you're going to grab. You're going to grab. And
again, it's not malicious. It's it's
no. Maybe it gets called. Maybe it doesn't.
Right. Exactly. In our situation, of course,
11-yard pickup. Yep. Both drives got killed by penalties, and then just Bo. I thought he should have. If he's got to stop this Russell Wilson stuff of turning his back and running backwards, that 15-yard and that 16-yard sack, it just can't happen. So he's going to learn, but he's a rookie. He doesn't know at this point, or maybe he knows, but he thinks he can get away with it.
Right. I think it was good for him to learn. Like, that's what happens when you don't throw the ball away, and I think that's a rookie running. And Jared in our chat said it perfectly. Like, that's the one downside to having a quarterback that is that mobile, that can get out of those situations. It's because those very few times they can't, it results in a huge loss.
Yeah.
Because they're so confident that they can keep getting away from it. And by that point, it's too late to throw the ball away. And then because they're so mobile, they keep scrambling, but then they're going backwards because now there's 5 defenders on them instead of 1. And now you result in a 15, 20-yard loss.
And I didn't like when we got the ball down on our end, and that's when Spagnuolo decided he was just going to blitz the hell out of them.
Oh God, that was bad.
And you're sending 3 or 4 receivers on fly patterns. That didn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
You got to have something right in front of you that
Just
that
a
is
quick
short,
dump
that
off.
somebody's going to catch and go. You let that rush almost get to you, and you just do a little toss over the middle. But instead, how that didn't get intercepted, other than the fact that everybody was all the receivers were on, they were off to the side. I think they should have anticipated them doing that.
Yeah. Okay, couple comments here. Let's get the comments and I have some stats for y'all. First off, I'm gonna go back to this one, Michael. Sorry, we didn't skip you on purpose. Should have put the game in Bo's hands. And I think we kind of did, but you also got to remember, and we talked about this, Michael, was we had to run the clock down. We've seen before, if you give Mahomes as much as 12 seconds on the clock, you're screwed. You could be very potentially screwed. In fact, David said in the chat, I think it was one point they got the ball after the punt at like midfield. And David was like, 1 first down and they're in scoring range. I was like, what are you talking about? They're the Chiefs. They're always in scoring range. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if they're on their 10-yard line. They can drop a bomb down the field, which they almost got on us a couple times, and boom, game's over. So, man, we played the clock perfectly the way I think, the way it went down. That 3rd and 2 there at the end, that pass to Cortland Sutton, man, that was a gutsy call.
Yeah.
Because everybody saw the run coming. Everybody saw the run coming.
I would have liked to have seen them at least do something different than just straight dives up the middle. Because they were playing that. And maybe you do something, a quarterback, he's, he does a RPO, or you got somebody coming around doing a jet sweep, a tight jet sweep. You don't want to lose yardage.
The woo-wee, right, all the way up.
Maybe a little tight jet sweep to somebody coming along right there. But I think that was the only thing I questioned. I thought we played it pretty safe, but it's a damn extra point. You're right there.
Yeah, but we needed it. We needed it for the time. We needed it for the time.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Down.
Yeah.
Run it down. Once you got that first down, I thought I looked at my son and I said, game over.
Right. Exactly. At that point, it is an extra point.
To position this ball, not lose yardage. And I was shocked when they actually handed off for a straight dive, but he picked up a couple more yards.
Yeah. Yep. They stayed aggressive. They did everything perfect by the book, strategy wise. They were aggressive at the right times. They made the calls at the right times. They killed all of the clock. They killed all of Kansas City's timeouts, right? They were smart with the football. They protected the football.
Maybe a year from now, you see them say, okay, they think we're going to just play it safe. Bo he's going to say, screw you, and he's going to go over the top like he did on 3rd and 2 from 32 yards.
Right.
Okay, you want to play it?
Which freaking beautiful.
But that's a year away. At least a year away. He's a rookie.
It's fine.
You know
that's
what?
Fine.
He played great. When he needed to make the plays, he made the plays. And I think that's something to hang your hat on. And a lot of people maybe aren't doing that because they want to pick apart the fact that we did not win the game. But if you watch, 59.58 seconds of that game, you'd say, man, the Broncos outplayed them.
Yep.
One breakdown, and that's usually all it takes. However, the fact that we did nothing out of the half, as usual, and that's something that's got to get fixed. If we want to get to the playoffs, and then once we get to the playoffs, if we want to make even just a little noise, we're not going to the Super Bowl. And that pains me because I think that should be your goal as a team. But
I think it should be,
we're
yeah.
not.
Right. Then there's the realistic part of it. Right. Where are we at the development of the team as well?
Yes. But this team, at this point, can obviously compete with anybody except for maybe Baltimore. And
I think that was a wake up game for us.
You know, if you don't, you know, go to sleep at the final minute and a half, of the second quarter, maybe you're right there in that game as well. But it kind of snowballed.
For sure.
And it was a good learning lesson. I think we're going to come out this week and we're going to punch Kirk Cousins in the face.
Yes.
And
it's going to be
he's going to do Kirk Cousins things. And
they should be afraid.
Okay.
They should be afraid because they should expect the Broncos to be pissed. Every team left on our schedule all the way through the Chiefs again in week 18 should be afraid of how pissed and motivated we are. I mean, if that motivation, I'm going to read this again. If this feeling, if this attitude spreads through the locker room, this team is dangerous. This game is going to make me into a monster. You have either that choice as a team, or you can say, that's it. Nothing we do is going to work.
Yep.
You know, we're first year rebuild anyway, whatever. Why keep trying, you know, and those are your two options. So they're either going to like go lights out the next, you know, rest of the, 7 games, or they're going to throw their hands up in the air. But I think with our leadership and, the coaching staff and everything, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this team is going to get incredibly, insanely scary motivated.
This week is the end of the murderers row that we had. We had a 3-game murderers row. This is the last week, and I question at this point whether Atlanta really is murderers row. But I think we lost both games that everybody thought we should lose.
Yeah,
and we should have won one of them. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have been able to go to win this one and go and take next week and go 2-3 out of this little stretch. But I'm not that concerned about it. We're 5-5. Oh. We win next week. We're 6-5, and then you start looking at the rest of the schedule. You got the Raiders again. You got the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, who
home game for the Broncos,
home game basically away from home. That's
so any of our followers out there in California or nearby, or not wherever they are, I don't even know. Las Vegas, LA, whatever the teams are nowadays, wherever you are, if you're over there and you can get to that game, freaking go and get orange and paint body orange, body paint orange. I don't care. Go and just make that place as orange as possible. And just demolish them.
It's going to be an orange home game.
It's got to be.
I really do believe that. And, I think the Chiefs, maybe they got things wrapped up by the end of the year and they're not playing that. But I don't want that. I want them to come out and say,
I don't think that'll be the case. We'll probably have
our foot off the gas because we really need this game. And then I want to punch them in the freaking face and lower their status. I want them to say, shit, man, they just cost us a seat.
I want to look at something really quickly since we're playing them again at the end of the season. Chiefs schedule: Bills, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers. We could be the NFL's last hope for stopping the undefeated season.
I hope the Bills take them down.
We could be the last hope.
I think the Bills are going to take them down. I really do.
If not us, I mean,
no.
It's bound to happen. But either way, you're right. Look, I think unless something crazy happens, Kansas will have that first round bye, so they'll probably want a good amount of playing time from those guys, especially if they know we're going to go out. We could very well be playing for a wild card spot at that point. We might need 2 or 3 things. We're probably going to need 2 or 3 things, other things to happen at minimum, but we're going to be in the hunt. You're going to see the Broncos name and logo on that little graphic through, I think, the end of the season. It's going to be, how many years did we watch that at the end of the season and watching the Broncos game? And it's like, they're not even there. They're not even there.
No.
It's like mid-November.
Eliminated from contention first week of December. How often does that happen recently?
Yep. Because they're going to start showing that stuff here pretty soon. So I don't know. But look, you're right. I mean, looking at our schedule, I'm excited for the Indianapolis game too, because we might make Richardson tap out in the first quarter.
If not, we're gonna get Joe Cool.
Yeah. Oh God. And just like when he came over, when he was at the Jets. God, he just looks like such a tool bag. Anyway, more comments here. Jerry, how you doing? Glad you're here. NFL got really, really scared. Broncos defense. Here's another good thing. How many times do we shut them down the red zone? Definitely. And the announcers even called it I don't remember the stat line, but they had only scored 1 touchdown the last 7 attempts at that point. I think there were 2 or 3 other red zone attempts after that.
Yeah.
So the Broncos bend. They, have trouble covering Kelsey on those deep routes or those other deep players. But if they can hold them to the red zone, they lock it up.
Yeah, I don't know how we let Kelsey get that open on that little slant.
That's just what Kelsey does.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
And the thing is, he looks so
have somebody
I'm over here now.
He's breaking in. Let's just knock him on his ass. I don't know.
Right?
But
it's like you're watching Star Wars and they're like, evasive maneuvers, and the ship goes, yeah, you're like that's your evasive maneuvers. But that's what Kelsey does. He's just running around, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and the defender's like, ah!
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Next
crazy.
thing you know, 15 yards of separation. Kelsey's down the field. You're like, what just happened? But that's what Kelsey does, and it's weird, but it's crazy.
It is. It's just how does this guy get on third downs? That's where the ball's going.
And even the announcer was like, they're not covering Kelsey on this third down. And then they snap the ball.
Yeah.
Quick pass to Kelsey.
Happen?
And I'm like, even they called it. What is going on?
That's a problem. That's a problem when that happens. You
Let's
almost
see,
say
Obi-Wan Kelsey. Yeah, basically.
you almost say, is somebody going to jump that route? They're baiting him, right?
Right? Nope.
Yeah, we baited him. Here's the end zone. Go get it. But you know what? The team played really, 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 really well.
Yeah.
And I listened to most of it for the first half as we were driving back from Pueblo. And, me and my son were high-fiving and we felt good. I got your text that said, this is looking good. And I was like, yes, looking good. Yeah. But man, and even when we pulled into the house and turned the TV on, we were excited. We thought this was our, I knew the spread was way too high. And
again, they gave us ESPN was saying a 23% chance to win, which was kind of like the Baltimore game.
Yeah.
But when it came down to the wire, hey, I'm just, for all of my ex-girlfriends watching this show right now, because I know you all do, I'm going to tell you right now that none of you hurt me as bad as I was hurt yesterday. Just throwing that out there. I'm crushed. I sat there for my multitude of girl ex-girlfriends.
A lot of ex-girlfriends. It was hard enough for me to get one and actually drug her enough to stay married to me.
What can I say? I got some moves back in the day, back in my prime. Let's see. Broncos fan for life. How you doing? Glad. So that's how I felt, man. I sat there for probably a good 10 minutes, just stunned. Like I said, I'm done footballing today, but I didn't even have the energy to change the channel. I was just like, trying to process what happened. But look, let's go back to this. Some good news again, because I know we keep going down and that was tough. But looking at Bo Nix's numbers from the season, keeping in mind that the first two games, especially that Steelers game, was not good at all.
And the Jets game.
And the Jets game. Yeah. So two bad games out of the 10 so far. And here are his numbers. 15 touchdowns first among rookie quarterbacks. 206 completions first. 1,968 pass yards, almost 2,000 yards. It's second. 63.6 completion percentage. That's third. He's played in all 10 games, and he's first in attempts. So way above what my expectations would have been for him at this point in the season. By and large, I mean, by a factor of 3, I would say. And the fact he hasn't thrown an interception in a couple games again. Well, you take away the tipped one by little Jordan Humphrey last week. Dude's been solid.
He doesn't take a lot of sacks either. I mean,
no.
either throws it away, scrambles out, or he takes really, really, really bad sacks.
Right, exactly.
You know what? We've been numbed to that after 2 years of Russell Wilson.
Yep.
And I religiously root against him, and it sucked that he
watching
was
them
able to make that pass. Because I was rooting for a Russell Wilson scramble around for 20 yards and get his ass handed to him. But I still believe that that's going to eventually play its way out by the end of the year. I really do.
Teams will figure it out again. Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. I don't think he's anything special. He's at best middle of the pack quarterback. And I think that's doable within the Steelers system, though.
Yes.
They don't need an amazing quarterback. Look what they did with Big Ben. If they could kind of turn Russell Wilson into, you can't do the same because he's not the same size and everything, but that pocket quarterback and just protect the ball, not take those sacks, you can work with that. But we just could never get him to do that with us. And then the clash happened. But we're here now, and I think we're better off for it. I agree. Disagree, but
I feel
I root against them every week too.
Sense of ease about this team right now.
Yeah.
At least see some positivity moving forward. I can look at next week and say, okay, I can see us winning that game. And I can look at the game after and say, okay. I don't see us getting blown out or just not even competing. This team really has an edge to it. And, I've said this from the beginning. Sean Payton, he wants players that are on board with him, because he's not. He is old school. And a lot of players, a lot of teams can't do that. Mm-hmm. And, the more he surrounds himself with people that are on board with this, I think you're going to see him lighten up a little bit, because
everyone's going to start to have, as soon as these guys start having a little bit more fun. And that's something that just has not been existent in the Broncos locker room in almost a decade now. I mean, once these guys start having a little more fun, I mean, you saw how they were partying on the road in some of these away games. And if you guys don't know that, you've never seen those videos. I mean, Sean Payton brings the loudspeakers and he brings all the party equipment out
talking about
just in case they win. And when they win, they party in that locker room. Nothing like absurd, but they let loose and they make sure. So the leadership we're seeing from him as well just is a really positive sign, because again, once you start, and it's once they see more success, that just adds into, okay, the system is working, and the buy-in becomes more and more and more over time, man.
Well, I'm excited. I really am excited for going forward. And I'm excited to start seeing that energy coming back for home games. And if you don't go to home games, you may want to start doing, even if you just go to hang out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the time is now. And, come
because
hang
once
out.
they start winning and become like a Super Bowl kind of run team, those tickets are going to get expensive.
You're going to go to a bar anyway. Go to a bar, take the light rail downtown and have fun. But come early. Come get into the parking lot about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Come see what's happening.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah. And this is me being me. Come see us.
Yeah.
We have a
I'm going to do this.
Great venue to get prepped up for the Bronco games. And, you just never know who's going to show up either.
Oh, yeah, we've had some surprises.
Yes, we have. We had Manuel Sanders just drop by out of the blue.
I mean,
we've had Kerry Walton Penner show up.
Penner, yep. Yeah.
You just never
Kamani
know.
Mathis.
I mean, we're at 118 flags every tailgate. It's like that little blue light that you have in your house when it's dark, so you can draw flies there and get them out of the way. That's what these flags represent. So come by and see us. I mean, have a shot. Come on, take a ride on the Scott ski. And you never know. You just might make some new family friends. And
I met you, man. That's how I dragged you into this mess.
It's amazing.
So I said, Scott, I need help. Come talk about the Broncos with me once a week.
I'd like to see that energy come back to the stadium. Yeah. Where people are like, hey, it used to be we'd show up on a home game and we were like, okay, we're going to kick your ass. And then it became, okay, well, maybe we'll win.
Maybe.
And then it became,
we're here because
alcohol before the game, we might enjoy
it's doable.
And now it's coming back around to where people are coming in and saying, okay, I'm a diehard fan. This is something I've never been to.
Right.
And, if you can get in the stadium, all the more better, because it just is so much fun. And especially when the team is good. And the team maybe is not great right now. It's a good team.
They're good.
Going to come out there and they're going to play hard every single game. And they're going to play for each other. And when somebody crosses the line against them, they're going to punch them in the face.
Yeah, they are.
Say, no, you ain't going to come into our house and do that. And that's what we need to continue to grow on. And that comes from, that's a culture. The culture has changed.
Agreed. The fun's a coming.
Yes.
The fun's a coming.
Yes.
Help you out with some of that fun. And if you want to feel like a champion, which I want the Broncos players to feel like champions after this last game, they deserve it. Pick up some Breckenridge Distillery Championship Blend, either the whiskey or the vodka. Great stuff from those guys. Make sure you guys, we have some closing thoughts, so stick around, guys. We're not done quite yet. Scott's got a full one right there. I love it. Guys, make sure you're liking, you're subscribing. Appreciate all the comments. Put a few more in as we get to I want to hear from you guys. What are your closing thoughts as well? You make sure you're checking out all of our other content. Tomorrow night, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, is our Bourbon Broncos and OBS show. We also have our pregame podcast we'll put out by Saturday. Game day, we have our pregame show 1 hour before kickoff live, as well as our live halftime show. So, when halftime's happening, I know what you do at halftime, guys. I know it because I do the same thing. As soon as halftime starts, Scott, I know what you do. What do? You do this. You do this. What's my Facebook say? What are people saying?
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to know what people are saying, come on over to the show. Just find us, like us, make sure you subscribe so you see when we're live. As soon as halftime starts, go grab yourself some Breckenridge Distillery whiskey and log in and talk about the first half of the game.
Yes.
Now, Scott, I'm going to go first because I've wanted to say this, and I think one of the bad things from this game is that we witnessed the official birth of Tom Brady 2.0. I think this is the first time I really saw Mahomes, and maybe he wasn't like really asking the ref, like in all seriousness, tell me when they're getting close, or could you maybe he wasn't, right? But the thing was, here they are playing a team that they are supposed to blow out of the water, that all these betting lines have them just the point spread is crazy. ESPN says they have a 76% chance of winning. And when they win, they block that field goal. Mahomes runs out there like he just won the goddamn Super Bowl. Okay, dude, you barely won. And in fact, if we pull this up really quickly, if we really want to look at this, yes, Bo Nix had fewer completions and fewer yards, but fewer attempts as well. And when you take those into account, he had a higher pass yards per completion and a higher rating overall than Patrick Mahomes. So if you want to talk about a Bo Nix versus Patrick Mahomes, round one, Bo Nix at least gets half a point. Okay, because he performed better in the quarterback position than Patrick Mahomes, who's out there running around like, yeah, look, we won. Yeah, you barely won. You barely won against a team you were supposed to annihilate. Good. You should be really proud of yourself, jackwagon. So this was the first time I saw him act like Tom Brady. He had that feeling of like, I deserve that, I deserve the call. Like when he got the tap on the helmet. I don't know if you didn't see this. He went for a rush, right? He was scrambling. And right as he was crossing the line of scrimmage, guy went to tackle him and hand brushed his helmet. I mean, he was like, face mask. And I'm like, dude, one, you're a runner. Two, he barely touched you. Like, where is this attitude coming from? So I am just disappointed in him because that is just the obnoxious behavior that made us all in part just totally dislike Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So I'm sad we saw that because, dude, shut up. But more importantly, with me getting off that soapbox, the Broncos have so much to be really proud of walking away from this game. And I know it's a consolation prize, and that doesn't mean anything in pro sports. There are no second place trophies. It doesn't say you lost, but tried really hard. Okay. But dude, when this team, we saw this game at the beginning of the season as an automatic loss. Like there's just no chance you even have a way to compete against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Especially mid-season when they're hitting their peak of their performance, and everything. So the fact they did this, the fact they're 5-5, the way they're playing, they have every reason to hang their heads high and go into the second half of the season and just annihilate everyone in their path all the way to week 18 when we get our redemption, baby. Scott, what you got, man?
Here's what I'm seeing. There is a growing trust, not only with the team, but with the coach, that Bo Nix is starting to be able to do everything the coach wants him to do.
Yep.
And he's going to continue to open the playbook. Look at some of the stuff we did yesterday. We lined up Mims twice, 2 or 3 times in the backfield. We're starting to think a little bit outside of the box.
Yep.
Bo Nix, do you think, I don't think the coach would have trusted Russell Wilson on 3rd and 2 from the 32-yard line to toss a pass to the end zone. There's a growing trust. There's a growing sense that this guy's got a little something. And they're just scratching the surface, And
Yep.
I think, we're 10 games in, we got 7 more games. And I think we got a bye week in between. I think you're going to start seeing more creativity on the game plan. You're going to see a lot more of the rookies starting to play and starting to produce.
There's a reason for them to play.
And we're actually starting to see some tight end sightings. It was amazing. Yep. I was doing some bets yesterday, and Atkins, who's caught a couple touchdown passes, I think he caught the first one a couple weeks ago. He was the highest odds of catching. Greg Dulcich, who wasn't even playing, was ahead of him and Kroll.
Okay.
Which is boggling. But we're starting to see that people that have produced are getting the plays, and they're getting their number called a little more. We've obviously this was a game we were trying to get Mims going.
Yep.
I don't know that we did that, but maybe next week it's a game to get Vele going a little more. Not that I don't think he needs it, because I think this guy is a star in the making.
Yep. I really do. I think he's our Tim Patrick like replacement.
Healthy Tim Patrick.
Healthy, young. And again, I love Tim Patrick. I want the if it's not the Broncos, then I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
For him. Look, this is, and it might be, man, that we've gone from the evaluation part of this young team to it's time to actually put things like no more evaluation play calls, no more, hey, we want to see more from Troy Franklin, so let's throw him the ball a little bit more to see get some tape on him. It's, hey, we're in a position to make a playoff push. It's time we know what we got. Use those skills, use those players. We
saw this week too.
It seems like it.
Hey, we're going to throw to this guy because we want to see what he is. To a more, you know what? We're going to throw to the guys that are getting open.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I'm excited about the direction we're going with Bo Nix. And to quote one great, really good tight end, God bless Bo Nix.
God bless Bo Nix. I love it. No, Gary, if the Chargers beat the Broncos, I'm going to stick a fork in a Charger socket. Okay. There's just no point in living if they beat us twice, which they haven't done in a season in forever. So, and I wouldn't actually do that. Don't anyone I'm just hyperbole. Man, this was, look, for all intents and purposes, for the, like you said, 99.9% of the game, the Broncos held their own. The defense did not quit, especially coming out of halftime. I thought they were going to struggle. They didn't. They shut the Chiefs down. They got to Mahomes. They hit him hard. They kept the offense in the game. The offense just either was 0 or 100 miles an hour, one or the other, no in between. And if you're talking, this is the first of many Knicks versus Mahomes matchups we're going to see in the future. I like our odds. I like our odds.
I do.
So
I think we finally found somebody that we can kind of hang our hat on.
Maybe you turn this into
turn
that into an O.
Leave.
It's gonna need updated. Scott, any last words, man?
You know what? Go Broncos. I'm
last words.
Very optimistic in
I love it.
What we're doing, and I'm excited. I'm excited about next week. I really am.
Yep. I love it. Well, hey, Scott, thank you as always, man. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week for another post-game podcast, hopefully with a lot better news. The Broncos facing the Falcons next, back in Denver, where we are ready to welcome them with open arms. Scott, again, thank you very much, Mr. Flagman. And we'll end it on this. I have nothing left to say, but to end it as we always do, in a very strong Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right. And I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go.